Tonight to get their daughter further medical assistance from the United States, all while they seek the release of her medical files so that she can be transferred to a Miami hospital. They say their daughter was admitted to the Princess Margaret Hospital 2 months ago for a surgical procedure. Now doctors say she needs a 4th round of surgery, but family members say no way. LaDon Davis tells us more about this matter of life and death the family continues to endure.
Please, as a father, I'm pleading to the powers to be. Please help my child.
It's this gut-wrenching plea that has nearly brought Leonardo Sanz to tears. You see, this emotional father, like any other, is going to battle for his only child, 7-year-old Kelsey Sanz, who was diagnosed with Wilms tumor, a rare kidney cancer that affects children. She underwent a surgical procedure and chemotherapy on January 7th. Sanz and his wife were optimistic about the procedure after 3 other children battling the disease miraculously made a full recovery, hoping the same would happen to their only child. But the news was not what they expected.
He said, Mr. Sanz and Mr. Sanz, we were able to take the tumor out. It was kind of huge. We took out the left kidney, but we also had to do some reconstruction to her diaphragm. We had to remove her spleen, and there were also some compromise to her bowels. And then they stitched our child up and they put her in the ICU unit.
But the surgeries didn't end there. On the 22nd of January, young Kelsey reportedly had to undergo a second surgery to remove her small intestines. But Sanz says something went terribly wrong and his daughter's condition began to deteriorate.
And when they came back to the surgery room the second time, they said to us, Mr. and Mrs. Sanz, we want you to know that we have removed all of your daughter's small intestines. And they said because it was dead. Okay, so we're trying to figure out why did it got to that point, okay, before there was some intervention. Now, they stitch our child up, and then the doctor said he had to stitch up the duodenum, okay? And then 2 days later, on the 24th of January, they came back to us again. They said, Mr. and Mrs. Sanz, there's a leakage from the duodenum.
Sanz says doctors then told him that a 3rd procedure was needed and then later a 4th surgery. He says enough was enough and denied permission for any further medical treatment. His wife Selena traveled to Miami to conduct an independent research at Miami's Children's Hospital, who reportedly agreed to negotiate and perform the surgery for $250,000. But Sanz says he organized meetings with all the relevant health authorities on numerous occasions, but to no avail.
We said to them that Miami Children's Hospital is asking for these medical files or records, and we didn't get no response.
Young Kelsey is in PMH's intensive care unit fighting for her life, but her parents have not given up. To make donations to Kelsey and her family, you can make payments to Royal Bank account number 740-4643 or Scotiabank at 101-3029. Now, officials from the Princess Margaret Hospital releasing a statement saying that they have no challenges with releasing the patient to go abroad once a financial and medical arrangement would have been made with that medical facility abroad. LaDon Davis, ZNS News.
It's a procedure that someone goes through on an almost daily basis.
Leonardo and Selena Sanz said Kelsey, their only child, was diagnosed with Wilms tumor last December. The condition is a type of kidney cancer that commonly occurs in children. Since being diagnosed, her parents say Kelsey has undergone 3 surgeries and spent her 7th birthday in Princess Margaret Hospital's intensive care unit. Things look grim, but they say they're not going to give up on their little girl.
And our child is there in the hospital deteriorating, okay? And as parents, that's heartbreaking, you know, to know that you're fighting and you're going to the powers to be to find help and a financial assistance to help your child.
And Kelsey desperately needs treatment at Miami Children's Hospital in Florida, but her father said that could cost up to $250,000. Kelsey's parents say they need help with the cost of treatment. They have set up a medical fund for Kelsey Sanz at the Royal Bank of Canada's main branch on Bay Street. Stay with us. We've got more news right after this break.
Welcome to the wonderful world of Pinder Tile. In Pinder's showroom, you'll find
to save the life of their 7-year-old daughter, who in December had been diagnosed with a kidney cancer that occurs in children. Well, just hours after that story aired, little Kelsey Sanz passed away in hospital. Our Jasmine Barnaby spoke with her devastated parents today and filed this report.
Christmas, New Year's, and even her birthday for 7-year-old Kelsey Sanz, those occasions were less about celebration and more about survival. survival. Nearly 70 days after she was admitted to the Princess Margaret Hospital after being diagnosed with Wilms tumor, the Our Lady's Catholic primary school student died just after midnight on Thursday. Since being diagnosed, her parents say she underwent 3 surgeries, one of which was to remove a cancerous tumor in her kidney. They say 2 other surgeries performed in late January were to remove portions of their daughter's digestive system, and that prevented her from being able to eat solid food. And despite the grim prognosis by doctors, her family says Kelsey fought for survival.
At one point, you know, doctors had to admit that this child was really a miracle in the making, because our child, she even walked. I watched my child walked. She got up and she said, Daddy, I want to walk. And she walked for me. And I was so proud of her to see her walk. In spite of all that she'd been through, she kept saying to me, Daddy, I'm hungry. Can you give me something to eat, something to drink? And Daddy didn't know what to say to her. I couldn't tell her that, Kelsey, you can no longer eat. You can no longer drink. I couldn't tell her that. So I kept telling her, Kelsey, one day you will eat.
But sadly, that day never came. Kelsey turned 7 just 2 weeks ago. Kelsey's parents hoped treatment at Miami Children's Hospital in Florida would have saved her life. The stateside medical care would have cost at least $250,000, an expense they were willing to pay. But now the grieving parents say they only have their memories of a little girl they say struggled to stay alive.
In my view with Kelsey, she was fighting very hard so she could be back home with her mommy and her daddy. Kelsey was going to grow up to be a mighty woman of God. She was going to reach out to so many others. So it's quite clear that God had a plan for Kelsey here on earth.
Now the family says they just want closure and they plan to never let their daughter's memory die. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
Soon the only thing left of the Fire Trail Road shantytown.
A diagnosis of Wilms tumor, a rare kidney disease found in children. While the support given by the Bahamian public was overwhelming, that wasn't enough to save young Kelsey's life. LaDon Davis spoke to the distraught parents earlier today and tells us what their next move may be.
7-year-old Kelsey Sands may have lost her battle from Wilms tumor, a rare form of kidney disease, a week ago, but her parents, Leonardo and Selena Sands, say they will fight until justice for their little angel is served. With the utmost faith in God, like many parents, they believe that Kelsey's sickness was curable, but claim doctors reportedly encountered some challenges during her first of 3 surgeries. Now the Sands family say they are seeking the assistance from international medical experts to satisfy them with answers.
Working on bringing in an independent pathologist very soon, and we're also working on getting this autopsy done so that we can really find out, and so that the public can really find out what happened to Kelsey Sands, because we suspect that something went wrong.
Sands says what's heartbreaking to him is the fact that the hours before his daughter took her last breath, she appeared to be relatively okay. He says hours later he got the call that his only child, Kelsey, was gone.
Her heart rate was like 141, her blood pressure was like 90-something over 50, her oxygen was like almost 80%, because the ventilator was breathing for her. So by the time we left, like after 10, by 12 o'clock, we received a call. When I went to see my child on her deathbed, I met the ventilator off, I met the monitor off, and I met a foreign tube on the side of my child's chest that I didn't give consent for.
Sands says when his daughter died, a piece of him died with her. While his extended family is not taking the tragic ordeal well, his wife Selena is also distraught over the loss of the child.
Kelsey, she is from a huge family, both from her mom's side and her dad's side. And she more grew up closer to her father's side. And the entire family is taking it very hard, mainly because out of the family, Kelsey, she's the first child to have ever died.
Whenever I'm having a bad day or if I'm sad, Kelsey would brighten up my day. All I had to do was just look into her beautiful brown, big, pretty eyes and hear her say, "Mommy, can you buy me something?"
A memorial for young Kelsey will take place at Our Lady's Catholic School on Wednesday, and her funeral services on Saturday, March 19th at Evangelistic Temple at 11 a.m. LaDawn Davis, ZNS News.
Police are looking for a